Hi everyone and welcome back to episode 4 of Sis That's Wild. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Alana.
I was like Bambi on ice on those point shoes.
You've lied. Okay, you got to stay committed to the lie.
I would not have liked you. I'm 1 of 5.
And I'm 1 of 6.
I landed on this poor guy.
I was a rat of a kid. This year, drunk Alana and drunk Ellen isn't going to come out.
But this week we really wanted to give you a bit of an insight of who we are outside of the job and also before the job. Yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of people listening, you may know us from different stages in our lives. You may know us from the islands. You may know us from back home, or you may be family, or you may be friends of family or neighbours or whatever. And I just think you may not know every side of us. I think Lani and I, we get along so well, and that is a lot to do with our families. We're both from large families. I'm 1 of 5.
And I'm 1 of 6.
So I think that really helped, especially with the travel partnership, because we've grown up with siblings, and siblings relationship is so special because you're friends. Well, now we're friends when we're a bit older, but you're also extremely honest with each other.
Oh, it's brutal honesty. It's so humbling. Growing up with siblings is so character building, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. Because you can say anything and everything. Like, nothing is off the table.
No.
Especially, at least with my siblings, whatever pops into their mind comes out of their mouth. 90% of the time they don't think. Love them to death.
And I think we brought that characteristic of that relationship into our friendship and our travel partnership, because at the end of a busy day, or we've been out and about, we're doing podcasts or whatever, at the end of a day, we'll turn to each other and be like, don't talk to me.
No,
Don't
and
look
neither
at
of
me.
us take offense to it.
Don't breathe in my direction.
Do not look anywhere near me. I'm going to bed.
And we're not offended at all.
No, it's like, okay, no.
Or
Not that we say it, because
Lani
we
will
told
be like,
each other.
no, you can't wear that. Take it off.
Oh, yeah. If
That
Ellen
looks
walks out
shit.
wearing something ugly, I'm like, ew, what is that? But I'm also like that with my mum. If my mum tries on something, she's like, what do you think? I'm like, what is that? What is that?
My mum, God bless you, Mother Mary, my friends and I call her mum, obviously, because she's my mum. She used to, when I was living at home and she was working or she'd go out, she'd come into my room and she'd knock on the door, usually at 6 a.m. in the morning, and she'd come and she'd be like, Ellen, what do you think? These shoes? This dress? These shoes or these shoes? And I'd be like, oh, Mum, those shoes. And now that I've moved out of home and I'm doing this, I'll still get the odd picture or the odd message being like, Ellen, what should I wear? And I love it.
It's good. It's fun. I send my mum like every time I get like my nails done or something, I send her a photo.
Yeah.
Or if I'm shopping by myself and there's something that I'm not sure what to get. Or I send it to my sister and she's, once again, brutally honest. And she's like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, okay, well, I've just bought it. You could have answered 20
Going
minutes
shopping
ago.
with Lani is an experience. Like, if you're in the mood to shop, you're going to end up with nothing. Because she'll be like, no, not that. Not that. So it is great for my bank account. Maybe not so great for my self-esteem.
That's how we are now, but there is a way that we all became this way.
Absolutely.
So let's take it back to when we were little younglings.
Yeah.
Babies growing up.
Schools,
yeah. Let's start there.
So, Lani, I'm so interested. What kind of student were you like at school? Because I feel like we were very different.
Well, growing up, both primary school and high school, I went to a private Catholic school. So you would think it would be full of all goody two-shoe kids. Now, I had 2 brothers that were older than me. So primary school, I was an angel of a child. I was perfect. No problems went wrong. And then I hit high school. My brothers had a reputation of being the rats pretty much at school. They were always in trouble, especially the second eldest brother. He was always suspended, kicked out of class. He spent majority of his high school sitting outside in detention than what he did in the actual classroom. But he was one of those lucky students that could not be in the class and still get an A on his test. So I had the 2 brothers obviously make quite a big reputation, and then I came through and I was known as the third walker. I was okay in year 7, and then year 8 I think started, and then it all kind of went downhill.
Oh, no.
We used to throw highlighters at fans, used to get throwdowns, throw them at the whiteboards while teachers were writing something on the board. We used to jump out of windows, and then you would run back around and go through the front door. I was a rat of a kid.
You were a rebel kid, sounds like.
I was just bored.
And was that all the way through high school?
It was probably from like year 8 to about year 10.
Okay.
And then 11 and 12, I sort of just settled down and would just fall asleep in class. But from about 8 to 10, there was one year, and I just remember my mum getting a phone call every single week. Every single week I would have a phone call from my English teacher saying that I've done something wrong, and it just got to the stage where my mum was like, I don't know what to do with her. Like, what do you do? There's nothing I could do. I spent every recess and lunch in detention writing out, what are my goals this week? What am I going to change?
God.
Blah, blah, blah.
And
And I used to just sit there.
No
I'm like,
effect
I'm
on
not
you.
filling this out. I filled it out last week. I actually
Copy
filled it
and
out
paste.
yesterday. If you want my copy, go pick it up.
Wow.
I was lucky because all of my phone calls went to my mum. So my mum obviously knew that I was a rat, but she had my other older brother to deal with as well. And
So
he
you
was
were-
worse, but my dad got none of the phone calls.
You were the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. If you compared me to them, then yeah, I was fine. I was a fine walker.
Okay, we were definitely different in school.
Well, what were you like?
I was the goody that you're talking about. So I also went to a private Catholic primary school, and I was a good girl. I went to all my classes, and I hardly ever missed school. Like, mum and dad didn't like us taking any sick days. I remember when I had braces, I got them on, and after the dentist appointment, straight back to school. Got them off, straight back to school. We hardly ever missed school, and for good reason. Like, education is extremely important. And then I moved on to high school, and the same thing. I never liked breaking the rules. I showed up to class. I wasn't an overachiever, and I wasn't an underachiever. I was just an achiever.
You got it done.
I just went, with the average. I was an average student. I ended up being house captain in year 12.
Oh.
Yeah, so woo!
Naughty girl.
I know. But
Yeah.
I hardly ever stepped out of line. I remember I got a detention once in my high school, maybe once or twice. And it was because it still hurts me. It's because I wore flip-flops or thongs on a swimming carnival day. And we were meant to wear
that's such Catholic school. That's such Catholic
closed-in
school.
shoes and then bring our thongs with us and change into them when we got to the pool. And I remember my sister and I got detentions, and I was beside myself.
Gosh, I used to get uniform notes all the time. Show up in my sports uniform when you had to wear a normal uniform. Forge my mum or dad's signature on a note on a scrappy piece of paper I've ripped out of my bag.
Our school was super strict on uniforms as well. Always had to have the top button done up.
The stockings. Did you have to wear stockings?
Yeah, tights and
I used to rip
everything.
mine midday, so I could be like, they could be like, where are your stockings? I'd be like, they ripped. I don't know.
And I was quite like a studious person until I think I got to year 10 upwards, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. And then WACE or TEE came along where we had to choose subjects, and I was more like I did Italian and dance and cooking. I tried chemistry. I thought I liked it more than I actually did. Didn't do too well, and changed it for cooking, which I absolutely loved. But I got through high school.
I mean, if you get in the grades, then it's fine. Because
yeah.
I was getting C's basically throughout most of it. A few D's here and there, I'm not going to lie. And I probably, if I look back now, I probably should have paid more attention because I'm now old and can't spell. But look, it happens to the best of them.
Yeah, I never gave my parents any trouble at school, I don't think. I just wanted to get through it.
Man, I remember sitting exams, and there was this one, I think it's going to, oh God, I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it's called the PAT test or something. It was some random exam that you had to sit on the computer. I think it was to get the school's IQ or whatever.
Yeah.
So I used to just sit there and press whatever random, I wouldn't even read the question. I would just press whatever random answer I could find. It's like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah. What about extracurriculars? Did you get involved with anything like any clubs before or after school?
I did math help.
Math help?
Yeah, so one, I can't spell, and two, I wasn't really good at math. So I used to go to math help on I don't want to say it's like a Monday afternoon or something.
Okay.
I used to finish school, go to math help, and then from math help, I'd get picked up, and I'd go to tutoring and do an hour of tutoring as well.
Oh, okay. So
I
you were proactive. You were putting in the
some
work.
effort. Could you tell? No. But I did try a little bit.
I like to see you try. For me and my family, big dancers. So my auntie and uncle and my cousin owned dance studios and everything like that. And I was brought up dancing. I started off with ballet because that's what my older sisters did. And I actually stuck with ballet for way longer than I should have. Maybe 12, 13 years, 14 years. And then I realized I'm not good at this.
Reality kicked in.
Why didn't someone tell me I was shit? Like,
Your
and then
siblings surely could have told you
I
that.
thought I took a break, and then I moved over to hip hop and commercial dancing, and I loved it, and I ended up staying there, and I went on to teaching and everything. But there was also a time where I went back to ballet. I was like, maybe I'll give it another go. Tried point. No, I was like Bambi on ice on those point shoes. We had end of year concerts and it was like a production and everything. And all I had to do was like shuffle across the backstage. And I was like, up and down from my toes because I just couldn't stay on point. And I just wish I wish I knew Liney back then because she would have given me point blank, Ellen.
What is that?
Give it up.
I would have had a sign in the crowd. Just walk off.
Use her clipboard that we use at the ports. Yeah. Get off the stage.
Who let this person on?
Anyway, we live and we learn.
So was that the main sport you did growing up, dancing?
Dancing, and then I went through netball. Netball is massive in Australia.
It is huge.
Did you get into it?
No, I couldn't do it.
No?
I grew up with a lot more guy friends than I did girlfriends, I would say.
Okay.
So I never really could get... I feel like it was always easier for me to get along with guys than what it was to get along with girls.
I was the absolute opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I was had a lot of... Not a lot of friends growing up, but girlfriends, yeah.
I have a lot. Now I have a very solid group of girlfriends, but growing up I feel like it was always hit and miss, really.
Yeah, I also dabbled in swimming. So I got into the swimming team in my high school and we'd have to get up early and do swimming lessons. And I remember one day, everyone, like I wasn't a bad swimmer. I'm actually quite a strong swimmer. And I remember the coach, it was just continuous laps and I was a little slower than a few people and I just felt like I was being chased to the point where I think I nearly drowned out. And I remember the coach just being like, keep going. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm not having a good time. I think I may drown. And I didn't go back to a swimming team meeting after that.
That's a little traumatizing.
That is it, yeah.
That's a bit traumatizing.
I also gave piano a go. Thanks, Mum and Dad, for believing in me for that year. And I think my piano teacher said, I just don't think you have the fingers for it. And what she actually meant was like, you've got fat sausage fingers, which I do. God bless, I do. So, but the dream was there. I think I learnt Titanic. Could I do it for you now? No, absolutely not. But I did at one point.
I remember at school, in primary school, we used to play the violin. Mm-hmm. So there was one part of the term or whatever, and it was violin term. So we'd get there and we'd get given a violin and the teacher would be out the front and we were all learning violin. And one of the strings, if you've never played, is a G string. And I used to always sit there and break the G string so I could be like, Miss, my G string broke.
Gosh,
what a loser.
If I had been in the same class as you, I would not have liked you. I'd be like, you were interrupting my learning time. Put her in detention. She deserves to be there, not me, because I wore thongs to a swimming carnival. Okay?
Yeah, we would not have gotten along at all.
No. But I do have a massive thanks to give to both dance and Italian. So if
Italian?
Yeah, posso parlare un po' dell'italiano, ma non sono brava.
Oh,
yeah, devi parlare più piano.
Ciao, Bella.
I know. I whip that same sentence out whenever I try to impress people.
What
and
does it
obviously
say?
It still works. It says, I hope it says, I can speak a little bit of Italian, but you have to speak slowly.
Oh, yeah.
But when you studied another language when I went to high school, you got a little extra percentage bumped up of your overall exam grade. And I think that really just pushed me over the edge. And same with the dancing, because I've been brought up dancing and had examinations with the Royal Academy of Dance growing up. I was used to that kind of format, and I think that really carried me over. Thank God.
Damn, so you did quite a lot growing up.
Yeah, I think Mum and Dad were really
kept you as a busy
great,
kid.
Yeah, really encouraging that we were allowed to do 2 extracurricular activities outside of school and what school provided, and that for me was dancing and netball.
How good.
Yeah.
That's mad.
And then but I must say, running and sports except team sports, was not for me. Did you ever have to do at school if you actually went on these days?
I actually had good attendance.
Okay.
I had good attendance.
Okay, I'll give you that. But in the sport lessons, did you have to do like fitness tests, like beep tests?
Beep tests, yeah.
Awful.
I didn't mind it.
And you had to get on and weigh yourself and do a flexibility, like how far you can reach.
Probably hid in the bathrooms, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, actually, no, I do remember this. And it was like some little metal box thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I was
but
probably
the
bottom
fitness
of my
test,
class.
the beep test.
Yeah, I didn't mind that though.
My aim was to not be the first one out.
Yeah, that's all you had to do. Do not be the first one out and you'll be fine.
Level 4, I think. I think
better than level 3.
Older, level 7 was maybe no, that's a lie. Level 5 was probably the top I would do. But I would
still
never
good.
be the first one.
See, I did running. A lot of the sports that I did was running.
Yeah.
So I grew up doing dancing first, then I did soccer, and then dancing again, and then I went back to soccer. So I love soccer. I thought it was
Yeah.
so much fun. I was midfield. I think I started at defense, and then I went midfield, and then I went striker.
Okay.
And I loved it. I remember there
Wow.
was one time as well I played NRL for school. It
Yeah?
was called Panther Trophy. And my parents, my two brothers played NRL, but they were like, you're our girl. We don't want you playing NRL.
That old chestnut.
And you know what? At the time, I was like, this is like ridiculous. What do you mean they were able to play? But I look back now and I realized, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely would have been snapped in half.
So you did full on rugby.
Yeah.
I did touch rugby.
I did
Flag
Oztag.
rugby, yeah.
I did Oztag. That was fun. But there was this one day at school, we had this gala day, and I looked at it as a free day off school, and I was like, perfect. So I knew my parents weren't going to let me go, so I thought I'll just forge their signature. So I forged their signature. I went and bought a mouth guard, and I just went on the gala day, and I just remember stepping on that field, looking at who I was about to run at, and I was like, oh, I now understand
Get me out of here.
why my parents said, no, you're not playing footy. Because it was rough.
Forge. And
Not gonna
whose
lie.
signature did you forge?
I think it was my dad's. My dad's was always easier than my mum's, I think.
Yeah, my mum was a little bit easy. Dad's was just too much, but even mum's was too hard for me. Like I couldn't.
They're both
Didn't
pretty
do it very
simple.
well.
Both my parents' signatures are very simple.
I didn't do it often, but at my school we had to. If you didn't do your homework, you had to get it signed back at home. And I was like, I'm a goody. I don't want mum to find out that I haven't done my homework or it's late or something like that. So I would try my best. I'm sorry, mum. I really am sorry, but I had a reputation.
I remember there was this one teacher who, his name was Macca, and he would look at the note and he would check the signature. He'd be like, is this really your dad's signature? I'm like, yeah, of course it is. What do you mean?
He knew.
And then he'll go, okay, I'm just going to go give him a call and I'll be back. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries. Like, you stay committed. What you've lied, okay? You got to stay committed to the lie.
Okay.
And you just stay there. And if you commit to it long enough, he's not going to call your dad. He's not going to know.
No.
And it was fine.
Oh gosh. I just don't like being in trouble. I still to this day I don't like
I don't
being
like
in
it
trouble.
now.
I don't deal well with it at all.
No.
Anyway, high school finished and we move on to life after high school. I went straight into university. And then after university went traveling. And I think, thank God for traveling, but because before I was a little uptight. And I think people, if you knew me maybe at high school or maybe in my first job out of high school, you probably thought the same thing. Like I said, I didn't like breaking the rules. I like to stick to the plan. I like to follow what management and what teachers and authority told me to do. And I think after traveling, I kind of saw how big the world is outside of the life I had been living and how other people live as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like traveling definitely changed. I was quite similar. Once I finished studying, spent about 6 months at home and then bought my first plane ticket away. And I've never learnt so much than what I did in that first couple of months being by myself in the other side of the globe, really.
Yeah.
So you just learn so much about yourself and how to get yourself out of situations and so many life lessons. It really changes who you
And
are.
I think I also like when you're traveling, nobody knows who you are or nobody knows where
It's
you've
the
come
best
from.
part. It's so
you
good.
can be whoever you want to be. And trust me, I have tried to be someone else. I remember thinking, I was like, maybe this season or this year or this time round, you'll be a little bit more
Nonchalant.
mysterious. Maybe you keep some of those stories or facts about shitting your pants to yourself. But it just finds a way out.
It does. All the time.
You just can't keep
Or you
this
think
personality
This year, drunk Alana and drunk Ellen isn't going to come out.
No,
ever. They're not
no.
going to make an appearance.
Well,
Next minute, it's mid-season and you're on top of Sweet Irish Bar dancing.
yeah, I get a
And it's
lot
like,
of I get a lot of shit for this back home because when I'm working and on season, obviously we're going out in those clubs and bars all the time. So when I'm back home, I'm like we've mentioned it earlier, we're hermits.
Absolutely.
I don't
wanna
go out. I don't drink. So I'm just like not a different person completely, but I just take a massive step back from the drink.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
Mm.
We drink so much throughout the season. Tequila is constantly
a
getting handed
break.
to you.
Yeah.
Your liver needs a break.
I think after my first season, especially at one particular bar, tequila is their drink of choice. And if you have a lime or salt with it, they look at you in a certain way like you're weak.
Oh, you just
This
have
is
to
not
take the shot.
This is all most of the islands they'll do it. But this one particular bar, I was like, okay, I'll just do it. It's part of the job, right? And that's what I thought at the time. And they would take this tequila bottle out of the freezer and they'd pour a shot, but it would be frozen. And as we know, alcohol doesn't freeze.
No.
So I don't know what was in that, but I think after my first year, I was like, oof.
And the first year's the year that you just drink the most. You go the hardest, the fastest, and you finish the season and you're like, that was so good and I hardly remember any of it. Like, and you think, how on earth did I make it through?
But I think off season on those 6 months, we're just a lot healthier, fitter version of ourselves while we're on trip.
So that was basically us growing up through school and what our travels and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But what was it like outside of school growing up with 5 siblings? How'd you find it?
It was cool. I really loved it. And I find it so strange when I talk to other people and they don't have a big family like mine and they didn't have the same experience that I did growing up. But I think I was really lucky because I've got siblings that are quite close age to me. So it was like a guaranteed friend growing up.
Sounds lonely.
It sounds like I was a loner growing up.
Who wants to be friends with the class goody two-shoe?
But my family, I adore them. I love them, but we're crazy and we're loud. Like you can hear how loud I am. Can you imagine 4 other people plus my parents, let alone when we get the extended family involved. So family dinners were loud. They hurt your ears. And we kind of leave family dinners, and I live with my sister at the moment when I'm not doing this, and we're still kind of like shouting at each other after dinner because the volume just increases so much.
There are sometimes you talk and I'm like, Ellen, why are you yelling at me?
Just imagine that.
And I know you don't like being told you're loud.
Yeah,
because you already know.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to.
And
why are you yelling?
I hear it often, like, oh, you need to quiet down, or you need to.
It just makes it louder. It just makes it louder.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't.
But life growing up with lots of siblings, I loved it. I really did. What about you?
Yeah, my life growing up was pretty fun. It was a bit rough, I'm not going to lie. I went through some stages. My parents got a divorce when I was young, so they went their separate ways, and it was pretty rough, but we make it through. We survived. And then when I was about, I want to say 12, my dad met his new wife now, and she had 3 kids, and then I have 2 older brothers. So technically I have 2 older brothers who are blood related, and then I have 2 younger brothers that are stepbrothers and 1 younger sister. But it's basically all I've known for so long. They're just siblings. I don't think of them as any other way.
Yeah.
They're just part of the family. So when I think family, I think of them, and it's just one big crazy blended family. Yeah. But we used to do a lot of camping. So we have so many memories throughout that.
Yeah.
Like building swags, snapping swag poles. My brother, we used to have always set up like this tent thing or whatever, and my brother would be told to go hold a pole, and he would hold the pole and then get distracted on his phone and drop the pole, and the pole would always land on my head. So that's basically what it'd be like. And you would think, how hard could it be? There's 6 kids, 2 adults building, they just got to make a camp for a week, and it would still take about 3-4 hours to set up camp, but it was so much fun. We had this last family Christmas, we had all of our siblings in the one house. So there was all 8 of us staying in the one house for a whole week, and it's just chaotic. I felt like growing up, there was always someone has a new partner, someone's just broken up with a partner, someone's got a broken bone. We had so many broken bones.
Yeah.
It was organized chaos, and in the best way possible.
And you kind of think, like, especially looking back on my family, how did my parents do it? Because we did this massive camping trip. There's 7 of us, including mum and dad, and we had this big white van and this camper trailer. And it was one of those J-code camper trailers where you wind it and it pops up and the 2 sides come out. And we drove across the country with all of us
in the
one car.
Oh wow!
And
you got to get along.
At the time, it was. It was a little traumatic, but now we laugh about it because it was such an incredible experience. But there were so many of us in this pop-up caravan, and we all had our job on what to do. But mum did this thing where she would say we'd go to Woolies or we'd go to Coles or a supermarket, and she said, everyone can pick a bag of treats. Oh, your favorite bag of treats, and we'll share it. And then whenever we misbehave in the car when we were driving, she'd start throwing the lollies out the window. And it would traumatize me because I've mentioned before, I love food. So when it was my turn and they were my favorite lollies, I was, don't you dare. Don't you shut your mouth, James, my brother. You shut up, Annie. If you make me lose one of my favorite lollies, I'm never speaking to you again. And our van did that thing at the back where you could turn the seats around. So you could face each other. And Dad made a little table that we could, or a bit of plank of wood that we could put in between so we could play cards. But card games and board games with a family like ours always ended in tears.
Oh, always. I remember, T, if you're watching this, you're going to hate me. We played a game of Uno once in our family.
No.
And it was just a simple, innocent game of Uno. And he just lost his shit and started crying. And
Yeah.
it now just gets brought up at almost every family chance you can.
My brother, brutal with Monopoly.
Oh, really?
Brutal.
There's always one in the family.
Why do you need to steal my properties and monies when you have so much of your own? Greedy.
You don't need them.
Yeah. It just sounded like it was not cool.
Although I am not a competitive person, but I hate a cheater.
Oh, okay.
I'll flip the table. Don't cheat.
Yeah, I am a competitive person. We all are in my family. Yeah. And I remember recently we had a family dinner and my sister brought her partner, my other sister brought her partner, my brother brought his partner, and we had a game of categories. And it, as you can imagine, we're all competitive and the partners are competitive too. So we're all fighting, saying like, that's wrong, you're wrong, we're right. And the octave of our volume just kept increasing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could cope. Hey, I don't know if I could do the yelling.
It is.
There's so many times with my family, I need a second.
Yeah.
I need to just leave me in my bubble just so I can listen to some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Because you're going to make me pop.
Yeah.
I'm going to burst in a second.
Yeah, but I loved it. And like I said before, you kind of meet people along the road or friends and people. And they say, oh, me and my cousin. And I was like, what do you mean one cousin? They've got one singular cousin.
Weird, hey?
And I find it so strange because mum is one of 11 and dad is one of 6. I think I've got nearly, if not 50 first cousins.
That's insane.
And it's a lot.
That is a lot. If you could go back in time and you could pick to have one sibling compared to 5 siblings, what would you pick? Would you pick 5?
No, 5. I wouldn't change it at all.
Yeah, I agree. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You get up to so much mischief. And then you're still close now with all of them?
Yeah, I would say yes, we are. Like, I live with one of them. My brother's a bit like me. He likes to travel and then come back home, but he's at home at the moment. But yeah, I am. And my older sister's got 3 beautiful kids, which I love. And my younger sister as well. We're getting closer and closer each time I go back. So we are close.
That's so good. Mm-hmm. It's the best part.
Yeah.
Got to be close to your siblings.
Yeah,
got to keep them close.
And just massive props to my parents.
Oh, I don't know how they've done it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the teamwork you can see with my parents.
Between my mum, my dad, and my stepmom, I just credit to them because look at me.
Yeah.
Bloody amazing.
You've done well.
You did well.
You've done well. Mum and Dad, shout out to you because it would not have been hard with 5 of us, especially me and my siblings.
Do you mean it wouldn't have been easy?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been easy. Sorry. If it was just me, it would have been a walk in the park.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But I really admire my parents' relationship.
Yeah, credit to them because I couldn't do it.
No.
Couldn't do it.
No
way in hell. Now, is there any pet peeves you have from your siblings?
Yes. Oh, my gosh. And it is the biggest one. And Alana does it too. I've used your full name, Alana. Did you hear that?
Now I'm in trouble.
Growing up, my brother and sister burped a lot, all the time, in my face, around me. And I don't know what specifically it is about burps, but I cannot stand them. I've said it once and I'll say it a million times. I'd rather farts than burps.
My mum says the same thing and I don't agree with it.
I cannot stand it. And every time Lani does it, I'll look at her and I'll be like, Alana, stop. I think it's a little bit of PTSD. But yeah, what about you? What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve? Oh gosh, my littlest brother He's obsessed with basketball, loves it.
Mm.
But it's 8 p.m. on a Monday night. Stop bouncing that stupid basketball in the house or I'm going to pop it.
Oh, really?
I can't do it.
Oh.
I can't do that noise. And all of my family know that I cannot stand that noise because the second it is bouncing, I'm just death staring. There's death stares coming from the other side of the room. I
They're
can't
like
do
looking
it.
at you for your reaction.
And sometimes he's like, oh, Alana, can you go under the couch and just pass me the ball? No, I can't. The ball's staying there. You don't need the ball right now, okay?
Do your parents make you go to his basketball games?
No.
No?
No.
Growing,
I should.
Yeah.
No.
We did, James did footy. My older sister Clara did cricket for a bit, and that was awful because cricket games are
I hate
6
cricket.
hours
Do not
long
get
and
me
they're
started
so
on cricket.
I'm sorry if you love
My
cricket.
eldest brother loves cricket, and
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Our mutual Brendan loves cricket, and I can't understand it.
You just stand in a field with people, and then they rub the ball on their ass and they throw it on a pitch.
But fair is
pitch?
fair in love and war,
Hate
and
it.
my family had to sit through multiple dance concerts for me, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
could not have been enjoyable for my brother.
I had to go to
at
my
all, or
brother's footy
dad.
games growing up,
Yeah.
but other than that, no.
They were always there, though. They always showed their support, and that's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Validation.
So where do you sit in the line of 4-5?
So Claire is the eldest, and then there's Annie and James who are twins, and then me, which is 18 months after twins, and then the youngest is 5 years younger than me, and that's Beth. And my twins were born on my mum's birthday. So there's 3
Wow.
of them born on the same day. Well, not the
Triple
same day,
whammy.
but same date. Yeah.
Just one. What do you do for birthdays? Do you just do one big birthday?
Yeah, basically, yeah. But
Probably a lot
it's
easier.
in July, so I'm never there for their birthday.
Oh, so you miss all
Yeah,
three. That's
yeah,
slack.
that is sad. Oh, okay, not slack. I can't help it.
Come to Greece. Come celebrate in Greece.
What about you? What number are you?
So I have my 2 older brothers, and then there's me, and then I have my younger brother, a younger sister, and then the youngest brother.
Okay,
So I'm basically mid-child,
middle child.
middle child,
Yeah,
middle older child.
we're kind of both middle children.
Yeah, but I'm my dad's little girl.
Daddy's
So,
little girl.
Dad's
Yeah.
little girl. Because he's got his 2 older sons, and if you look at it like with just my blood related siblings, he's got my 2 older sons, and then my mum and my dad's little girl.
Kind of similar, I suppose. My auntie left me at a park. She forgot.
She just had enough of you.
Well, I don't think so. That's not how she tells it. But there was just so many kids she was looking after, and I got forgotten. And I think Mum used to do the same thing. Like I said, we were doing ballet, and Annie, my older sister, did ballet, and our classes were back to back. So hers would be from 4 to 5, and mine would be from 5 to 6, or vice versa. And Mum would come and drop Annie off at 5, and leave and forget me.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
So I just have to sit in the studio for an hour to wait for my sister to get picked up. But
Well, at least you're not sitting on the side of the street. in a
no,
random park.
no, they would never.
Well, do you have any other pet peeves that you remember from like little that your siblings would do? I mean, there's burping, which obviously you get all the time, but
Not really, but we did growing up have rules. Did you have certain rules in your family growing up? Like very specific rules.
no, not specific.
So I'll give you a
rules.
couple. So I mean, I think this is a pretty standard one. When we got home from school, straight out of the uniform into our day clothes. Yeah.
Okay.
And we could have free time up until 4 p.m. And then 4 p.m. was homework. Yeah.
Damn, straight into it.
No meat on Fridays. We still kind of
Religious?
yeah.
Religious thing?
Still try to follow that one too. And no TV on Thursdays.
No TV Thursdays?
No TV on Thursdays. It was something Mum introduced, and we kind of just stuck to it.
Yeah.
And we had very quite strict bedtime. I think in primary school it was maybe 7:30, and then when we got to high school it would go to 9 o'clock. But my mum, Mother Mary, loves her hair being done. So I would never do it because I don't like touching hair. I never liked it. But my sister, Annie, would cop it the most. And she would take one for the team, and she'd do Mum's hair until she fell asleep so we could stay out a bit later and watch. It was NCS at the
so
time,
you would
I think.
you would have a plan. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, so we could stay a little bit later before, So good on you, Annie. Thanks for that one.
You got to do what you got to do.
We had takeaway or fast food on payday, which was every second Thursday. So that was like a little treat for us. We only had one TV growing up.
One?
Yeah.
A big one or just like one of those small ones?
It started off small and it eventually got bigger. And I remember at high school we'd do these surveys in math classes, and one of the questions would be like, how many TVs do you have in your house? And everyone would be like, oh, we've got one in every room, maybe 4 or 5. And I
Okay,
was
that's
like,
excessive.
we've got one.
I feel like one's normal though.
It's a community thing, yeah?
we had one big one in our lounge room, and we didn't have a rule that you couldn't watch TV, but no one really did.
No.
We were quite active kids. We would
That's
go play
good.
soccer in the
Yeah.
backyard, or I remember there was one time our parents bought us these big blow up thing, like, you know, those balls where you would just charge at someone and you bounce back off them.
yeah.
So whenever you got into a fight or something, or you just wanted to run at your sibling, but you couldn't do it without the thing because your parents would get you in trouble because you'd injure each other. So we'd think, okay, let's go chuck one of these ball things on and just run at each other full pace.
Wow.
And you would just do it on repeat. Just bang, bang, bang.
Oh,
There were so many times growing
I feel
up.
like some injuries could have come out of that.
Oh, we had broken legs. I had a broken toe. It's the only toe I've broken, but I had a broken toe. Broken arms, stitches, necks, like skulls coming off the spine.
So you've only ever broken one bone?
Yeah, it's
in
my
your
pinky
life.
toe.
Wow.
And I remember I broke it because I was running around the trampoline in circles with my sister, and my toe had gotten. There was one of those trampolines where it wasn't a zipper to go in. It was like a mesh thing, and you would like crawl through the side and come around. And I went around, and as I was running, my foot got caught in it, so my pinky toe went that way, but the rest of my foot went that way. And growing up with a lot of siblings,
Ooh.
if you're injured, you walk it off.
Yeah.
You don't need help, you walk it off. And I'm still a lot like that now. When people come to me with injuries, I'm like, you're literally fine.
cat scratch.
Cat scratch. You're literally fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Get over it.
Yeah.
And it started going blue pretty much straight away.
Ooh.
And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that doesn't look right. But it was a Saturday and I had Sunday soccer, okay?
Okay, and you don't want to miss that.
Can't miss Sunday soccer, okay? So the next morning I've woken up, I can barely walk. My foot's killing me. We've had a look at it. She's blue, but you know, she's fine. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Pop my soccer.
Still hanging on.
Exactly. Pop my soccer socks on. Can't put my shoes on because my foot's in too much pain. So I'll just put them on right before the game. Jump in the car with my dad and we start heading to our soccer game.
Yeah.
And we've done the training session and I've gone up to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I can't run. Like I'm in so much pain. He's like, what do you mean? You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Like just go play your game of soccer. And I'm like, okay. Put my boots on and I've run out onto the field, got on the ball for the first time, touched the ball, and I'm like, nah, take me off. I'm done. Get me out of here. And we've gone home and Dad's looked at it and he's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe you're not okay. My stepmom's come home and she's had a look at it. And she's like, you've broken your toe, 100%.
Yeah.
So the next day was obviously Monday, so I got a day off school. Woo! And I went and got an X-ray, and yeah, clear break through my toe.
Ouch.
But other than that, I got away pretty lucky. My brother's broke more bones. My brother once had a broken collarbone and a broken ankle at the same time.
Ugh. The question I have for you, what are soccer socks?
Soccer socks.
What's the difference between soccer socks and normal socks?
Well, soccer socks go up to like here.
Oh, they go up to
you
your knee.
You have shin pads on.
Oh, right, of course.
So you gotta have
Sorry.
socks that,
Okay.
like Harry high pants, but for socks.
But with socks. Okay, I get it. Sorry.
Yeah, so you should know. So it's even more difficult with a broken toe because you got so much that you got to like
Get
on, you know?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty good. I did not break any bones in my childhood, and it wasn't until I was a fully grown adult where I first broke my first bone.
What was your first bone you broke?
My teeth. And I can say this now because everybody knows, but during COVID time, I moved to an island off the coast of WA called Rondes, and I got a job there at a new resort. And I was a hermit again. I'd go to work, I'd work really long hours, and after my day of work, I'd just go home to my bunk bed and sleep. And then a few of my colleagues were like, Ellen, we never see you out. Why don't you hang out with us sometimes? And I was like, oh, okay. So one day I made the effort and I met up with a couple for drinks at a jetty or something down the road. And the way you get around on this island is by bike. And my dad had just given me a bike for Christmas so I could get around the island on my days off or my time off. Anyway, I met up with the crew and I walked there and one of the guys offered a trip back on the back of his bike. And I was like, no, I'll walk. It's all right. And he's like, no, get on. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm a cool girl. I'll do it. I'll get on the back of his bike. And it's literally a 2-minute bicycle ride back to our accommodation.
What could go wrong?
Exactly. And we're riding alongside each other. And the guy next to us on his bike goes, hey, do you want me to take that bag? Because he had some bags on the handles. And he's like, no, we're all good. we weren't good. That bag got caught in that front wheel and the bike just went forward. And I was at the back and I landed on this poor guy. And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? I think I've squashed him. And he looks back at me and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just see blood coming from my mouth. And I was like, maybe I'm not fine. And I smile and they're like, you are not fine. You need to go. And so somebody runs to the manager and the manager happens to be my friend. And he comes out and he just looks at me and he just laughs. And he's just like, oh my gosh, what have you done? But the big manager is with him too. And they're stressing out. And I'm like, I'm okay. And my friend who's the manager's like, you're not okay. And I'm missing half my teeth. And I see it on the road. So I pick it up and I get taken to the little nurse's station on the islands. And I couldn't find the other piece of my broken tooth. But I got what I could. And I went to the nurse's station in a little golf cart. And I had heard previously the year before something similar had happened, but it ended a lot worse than how it ended with me. And she got lifted off in the helicopter. And I think people had lost their jobs over this. So I was stressing that I would lose my job. And I'm thinking, I'm not calling my dad. He'll lose it. He's just given me a bicycle for Christmas. So I call my sister Annie, who's the one 18 months older than me. She's also a nurse. So I thought she's the safest one to call for support. And I FaceTimed her and she was like, oh, I'm at this nurse's station and they have a doctor on site and he's having a look at me. I have to wait a while. There's a guy next to me who's got constipation and he's getting looked at first. And I'm in absolute pain. They give me some Panadol, which barely take the edge off. And this doctor comes along and he's like, where's your other piece of tooth? And I was like, I don't know. And he's having a look at my lip because there's a massive hole in it. And he takes out this hard thing in my lip and it's the corner of my other tooth.
Oh, that's right. And you didn't feel this?
No, I think it wasn't
adrenaline?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just pure adrenaline.
And he stitched me up and it was at night, so I couldn't get it. All the ferries back to the mainland had finished for the day. So the next day, my sister came and picked me up from the main port on the mainland and she drove me to the hospital there and the dentist there, and she was able to glue back my tooth and put a filling on the one that I couldn't find or eventually found in my lip. And I went back to the island straight away. I was like, I cannot go home on my days off for weeks until my lip heals because it looked like I had a botched lip. Like I had a bad lip job. And it was during New Year's time and I had just secured a cool bar job for that night with the bar that was attached to the hotel because this is the best night to work on the island. It's just so much fun. And I really wanted to work. So I didn't want to take any more days off from my reception job, which was a front office job for this bougie resort. But thank God it was COVID season, so I could actually wear my mask and cover it. But for when I was talking to the people, I actually had to have my mask off. And my manager said to me after he saw me, he's like, are you sure you don't want the day off? And I said, no, I want to work because I want that New Year's Eve gig. And he's like, oh, well, maybe you have the day in the back office today. Because I look so bad.
Another humbling moment for you.
Yeah.
And your sister didn't tell your parents?
No, I didn't tell. I think all my siblings found out and Annie took photos and she would show them around and I didn't tell my parents until years down and Dad was like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, because you would have reacted.
What?
Even though I'm a 27-year young adult, I didn't want to tell my dad that I broke my 2 front teeth.
Well, I mean, at least your sister didn't tell.
No, she was good. No, the siblings banded together.
Yeah, you like that? Like if your sibling needed something, they're like, don't tell mum and dad.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
100%. You have to.
It's
be a sibling.
It's an unwritten pact, isn't it?
Me and my sister, we have that many hidden jokes or secret jokes. Oh. And we sit at the dinner table at a night and we just look at each other from across the room like.
Thank you so much for listening and we can't wait to have you back with us next week when we talk about Sri Lanka and Morocco.
Yeah,
and our time there.
Travel story.
And learning to surf as an adult.
another one in the million
Getting naked
moments.
in her mum.
Yeah, and see videos of that crocodile surfing the waves right before we were about to go in.
Yeah, and the monkeys.
Alana
comes face to face with her fear of monkeys.